You are watching KVU 25 News Now at 10.
Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Carolina Astrain. A truck driver was killed after his 18-wheeler veered off an expressway and slammed into two cars before crashing into a home Saturday morning in Mission. That's what police said. The house was up for sale and not occupied at the time of the crash, according to investigators. First responders worked for hours to get the unidentified 51-year-old truck driver out of the crash site. Mission police confirmed to ABC News. An autopsy will be performed to determine the cause of death. One of the drivers who was in the vehicle struck by the truck was hospitalized with injuries, according to police. Heavy rains and flooding in Texas are raising alarms about a potential failure at Lake Livingston Dam. The dam is located about 70 miles north of Houston. The Trinity River Authority of Texas issued an advisory to residents in the area. Authorities in San Jacinto County echoed that warning. They are calling for a voluntary evacuation of homes near the dam because of rising waters. In the meantime, the TRA says while there is no immediate danger, the potential does exist for the dam to break. And the agency says day-to-day operations of the dam will continue, although workers may change normal gate operations as conditions warrant. An off-duty police officer was one of 4 people killed after a driver sped into a Long Island nail salon on Friday. About 150 firefighters and EMS personnel responded to the incident at Hawaii Nail and Spa around 4:30 p.m. The police said the driver of the minivan, 64-year-old Stephen Schwally, was arrested after the crash. The youngest victim was just 12 years old. Schwally was arrested for operating the vehicle while intoxicated. 4 people, including the off-duty officer, were pronounced dead at the scene, and at least 9 others were injured. One of the injured was airlifted to a nearby hospital. Officials with New York City's Hospital for Special Surgery said that the Dalai Lama underwent a successful knee replacement surgery. According to the hospital's chief of adult reconstruction and joint replacement services at HSS, His Holiness is expected to make a full recovery after having surgery on Friday. Hospital officials say he was discharged Saturday morning, adding that the Dalai Lama's personal medical team and office were in constant communication with the staff at HSS. HSS, they are grateful for the trust and assistance of the Dalai Lama's team. According to HSS, it is the world's leading academic medical center with a focus on musculoskeletal health. Millions are on the move headed to their holiday destinations. The TSA saw its 4th busiest day ever on Friday, screening 2.93 million passengers at airports nationwide, falling short of breaking the 3 million mark, which they expect will happen sometime before July 8th. But weather could have an impact on all of that travel, especially in the Northeast.
Airlines are bracing for a record number of travelers over the 4th of July holiday.
It seems pretty busy already coming in. The lines are moving, but it's definitely a lot of people.
The TSA says it expects to screen 32 million passengers between Thursday, June 27th and Monday, July 8th. The agency believes it will set a new record, screening 3 million travelers in one day before all this July 4th travel comes to an end. As always, travelers are advised to get to the airport at least 2 hours before the flights. The nation's roads are also expected to be crowded. AAA predicts more than 60 million people will be driving to their holiday destinations. The worst time to leave for that road trip, between 2 and 8 p.m. The best time, before 10 a.m. Some good news, though, for drivers. Gas prices are down about 5 cents from last year. The national average for a gallon of gas is $3.50. The weather could put a damper on some of those travel plans, with storms heading into the Northeast.
A tornado watch has already been issued, actually, for parts of Pennsylvania and Ohio, along with a severe thunderstorm watch. This line of storms rolling through overnight, and then another line making its way to the East Coast, the I-95 corridor, particularly tomorrow evening. That could bring damaging winds along with a few tornadoes.
Heavy rains have already caused flooding in parts of the Midwest, including Minnesota and South Dakota. Roads in Oak Island, North Carolina, underwater after thunderstorms moved through. And in Moab, Utah, flash floods turned this highway into a waterfall. Johnny Fernandez, ABC News, New York.
And now let's take a look at our viewer poll. Today we want to know, have you encountered any delays or cancellations related to travel this summer? Okay, 5% of you said yes, 81% of you said no, and 14% of you said not yet. Thank you for taking part in our viewer poll. Now let's head on over to Trey with our forecast.
Warm and humid on the outside, of course, and we saw a few rain showers today kind of popping up earlier. It's all out of the picture now. Current temperature in Victoria, 82 degrees. Still feels like 90 degrees even after 10 o'clock at night. So definitely warm and humid, no doubt about it. 85% humidity. Southerly winds bringing in that moisture in off the Gulf, 8 to 10 miles per hour. And the main story is the heat around here. And of course, Hurricane Beryl in the Atlantic Ocean. Where is it going? We'll tell you what we're thinking about it coming up a little later on this half hour in the full forecast. Carolina?
Thank you, Trey. A college in San Antonio is breaking new ground. It's become the first school in the country to house a fully functioning mortuary.
The mortuary science program at San Antonio College has been around since 1961. It allows students the hands-on experience of what it means to be a mortician. This year, the campus took that a step further as they opened up the first ever mortuary on a college campus, becoming the first in the nation.
We were so pumped.
Jonica Fuller is a former student of the mortuary science program. She said that she learned about the program's conception from her former professor, and she was excited for future students to have this opportunity.
We were so excited, you know, that's something that we could experience instead of coming to an actual funeral home.
But what goes into a fully functioning mortuary? Jennifer Floyd is the licensed funeral director and embalmer in charge of the operation. Students shadow her throughout the day as the business shows what it can do. And she says it can do it all.
We provide every service that any other funeral home in the state or in the country can provide. Direct cremations with services, memorial services, traditional funeral services.
And it's there for you, open for business with the public. The building is complete with a crematorium, chapel, preview room, and conference room. Floyd says this is an opportunity to build a world-class program of the future.
It's groundbreaking, it's innovative, and it's definitely a legacy and a jewel for the students to be a part of it. For me, it's not about me. It's about educating our future generation.
We were actually going to be able to see it firsthand, learn, grow, you know, have some practice that way before going into the real world.
School leaders say the new facility will advance the field of mortuary science and will set a precedent for similar programs nationwide. Victoria City Council members set to meet Tuesday at 5 p.m. inside Council Chambers at 107 West Wan Lin Street. On the agenda is the proclamation of Parks and Recreation Month and Keep Victoria Beautiful July Business Beautification Award, as well as the amending of an ordinance called the Unified Development Ordinance. Several contract approvals are also in the agenda, as well as the authorization of the city manager or designee to purchase the right-of-way for the Briggs Boulevard and Spring Creek Bridge reconstruction project. The city manager will also give a report about the city's child safety program, and we'll hear a proposed fiscal year 2025 program and a fiscal year 2025 proposed pay program overview. Come to our website, crossroadstoday.com, to learn more. Victoria County Commissioners are set to meet at 10 a.m. Monday on the second floor inside room 241 on 115 North Bridge Street. On the agenda are several items from the Victoria County Public Health Department. An application for a tax abatement from the Portside Energy Center LLC, and the authorization of the Victoria Economic Development Corporation to conduct an impact study, as well as the approval of a memorandum of understanding between the Victoria ISD and the Sheriff's Office regarding the School Resource Officer Program. To learn more, come to crossroadstoday.com. And if you were summoned to appear for jury duty on Monday, July 1st, at the Victoria County Courthouse, you are asked to not appear. That jury duty session has been canceled. To learn more, go to our website, crossroadstoday.com. Okay, get your cell phone and scan this QR code. It's our quick response code to download the Crossroads Today app. You can watch us anywhere, anytime, and you can learn all about our ongoing contest right there on the app. You can also submit those news tips and photos. And remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today. Hit the like button and click that notification bell. Stay with us. Coming up, a San Antonio man sharing his story about how a local business gave him a second chance.
Definitely on the outside. Temperatures currently in the 80s everywhere you go. 82 degrees in Victoria, as a matter of fact. Still upper 80s along the immediate coast. Heat's going to be an issue. And what about the tropics? They're heating up as well. We'll give you the details in the full forecast.
Greetings from Ireland. Our great friend Joe Matthew from Victoria is joining us today. Let's tell you what we saw today. Now, we started the day at the Connemara Celtic Crystal Factory in Poulacapul, where Celtic motifs are expertly cut into colored crystal. And then we enjoyed a scenic drive through the dramatic canvas of Connemara, dense with gleaming rivers and lakes, stunning coastal views, and rugged rock formations. We arrived at Kylemore Abbey, home to a Benedictine community of nuns since World War I. We explored this expansive historic site, including the castle, Victorian walled gardens, a neo-Gothic church, traditional home-cooked dining, beautiful trails, and a shop with handmade Irish goods. Joan, we have seen a lot today.
The Celtic crystal, we just saw a gentleman, and in less than 5-6 minutes, he did the most intricate carving, but he had to go through 8 years of training and has now been 40 years at doing this, so that was amazing. And of course, this beautiful backdrop, beautiful Kylemore Abbey, and I'm so glad we came.
Thank you, Joan. And we have more stories in the days ahead. Reporting from Ireland, I'm Don Brubaker, KAVU TV 25 News Now.
A San Antonio man is sharing his story about how a local business gave him a second chance.
Cutting through life's challenges is a constant job.
I've always had it rough.
For nearly 11 years, Walter Madden didn't have a home.
I started out downtown, living in the street.
But 20 years ago, Walter's life would bloom into something much more. It starts with his now boss, Chad Huff. He recalls their first time meeting.
The look on his face was, maybe he'll last a day. Right?
That day,
you're right,
lasting more than 2 decades.
Always there, the guy that I needed to stick by my side to get this business going.
During that time, Huff was growing his landscaping business and met Walter, who was living in a field.
I always feel people fall down, stumble, and we all need a helping hand at some point.
At 76 years young, Walter is still going strong. Huff gave him another fighting chance.
I'm very thankful.
A feeling difficult to describe.
There is really no word for it. It's something I feel inside me.
Where the grass grows, so does opportunity. And that is what is happening with Chad's Landscaping.
Don't judge a book by its cover. Realize you can learn something from everybody.
For more on today's news stories, come to crossroadstoday.com. Don't forget to submit those birthday wishes. We'll read them live on 25 News Now, Sunrise. And you can also submit a local military hero so we can recognize them.
Definitely was a hot day today, and temperatures in the overnight not cooling down too much more than they are right now. Another day tomorrow of triple-digit heat index values. We'll talk about that in the tropics, which are heating up in a big way, coming up after the break. Good evening, everyone. Trey Mining here, and the temperatures, well, that's the big story here in the Crossroads region. And we'll look at the temperature model throughout the day. On your Saturday, we'll start off in the 80s as well into the 90s for the daytime highs. And we'll pretty much repeat the same process again for your day tomorrow. High temperatures well into the 90s for your air temperature high coming up for your Sunday, starting off near 80 degrees. And it'll keep on heating up as we go through the next several days down the road, so no change in that aspect of our weather. Southerly winds off the Gulf of Mexico you see right here coming in, keeping us warm and humid definitely. And look at this, by the time we got to 6 p.m. this evening, the heat index value was 107 and cooling down a little bit, not too much more. Heat index values well into the lower 90s coming up at midnight tonight, and hitting up again with the heat index values well above triple digits coming up by about noontime on your Sunday. So know your heat safety tips and use them. What's going on weather-wise with the state of Texas? Pretty quiet in comparison to other parts of the world. And a few rain showers earlier, high pressure dominating our weather here. And this is going to be important, not just to keep us hot and humid, but it's definitely going to keep, if it stays in place right here, the tropical activity from coming into our region here, but steering it more toward the south. If this high pressure stays in place, if it moves a little bit further away or breaks down a little bit, could be a different story with allowing the storms to enter into the Gulf of Mexico potentially. So it's kind of wait and see process about that as we go through time. And first of all, this weak low pressure area near the Yucatan has a 50-50 chance of development. Doesn't have much of a chance though, because moving into the southern Gulf of Mexico, then moving into Mexico proper south of Tampico by about Monday or so. Not really expecting this to develop, may get a little bit stronger. But the big news is, of course, you're way out here in the Atlantic Ocean. This is Hurricane Beryl, of course. Now up to 85-mile-per-hour winds, really getting its act together. Has a classic look to it. That's kind of the spiral rain bands and the outflow from the storm. It's expected to be a Category 3 by the time it enters the Caribbean Sea, coming up by about Monday or so, and then moving through the southern parts of the Caribbean Sea to about the middle part of the Caribbean Sea, coming up by the rest of the time frame next week. So watching this system carefully, of course, if high pressure stays in place, more than likely it'll continue more of a westward course. If it breaks down a bit, this could be changing, moving into the Gulf of Mexico. So kind of a lot of uncertainties out there, but so we'll keep tabs on it for you. And here's a better view. We have the Hurricane Center tracking forecast on here, and plus the spaghetti models I'm showing you here on top of that. I'll get out of the way to give you a better look here. And it's continuing to move pretty confidently to the west through the next several days through the Caribbean Sea and into the Gulf of Mexico, maybe, if that high pressure begins to break down, that is. And look right here, so far it has it pretty much toward the Yucatan Peninsula, coming up by the Thursday, Friday time frame. And still pretty confident in that. Maybe this high pressure is going to hold. If it's not, of course it'll move into the Gulf and will be a different story then. So a lot of waiting and seeing about what will happen, of course. For us here, we don't have to wait about the heat. It's definitely here. And they're going to continue that way through the overnight tonight. Maybe a few rain showers along the coast early in the morning time. And then building inland as we work toward the afternoon hours in the daytime heat. So narrow it down for you. Port Lavaca, sunny skies throughout the day tomorrow with highs in the 90s again, southerly winds. And then for Cuero, high temperatures will in the mid-90s, of course, with triple-digit heat index value no matter where you go. So please be safe out there. And for Victoria, high temperatures in the mid-90s again, southerly winds. And extended forecast for us here. Slight rain chance for your Sunday, 95 degrees, heat index value approaching 109, of course, maybe by the afternoon hours. And then looking for the rest of the week coming up next week. High temperatures in the 90s, no problem there, except for the heat, and lows in the 70s, of course. A little bit better rain chances, perhaps, coming up by about Wednesday into about the weekend or so. Independence Day on Thursday looks like it'll be hot, of course, hot as a firecracker, with a 20% chance of a rain shower during the afternoon. And check this out right here. This is the QR code you see there. Get your smartphone, scan the code. Now take you to a webpage. You can download our app, News, Weather, and Sports at your fingertips. Very easy, convenient, and free of charge to be connected with us with all your latest news, weather, and sports you need to know here in the Crossroads. Carolina?
Thank you, Trey. Coming up on 25 News Now at 10, we hear an interview with the head coach of the Victoria Generals. Cutters last night, the Generals claimed their second win of the series, making it a sweep. Last night's game proved to be the most impressive, with the final score being 13-5. The Generals prepare to go on the road to take on the Brazos Valley Bombers today and tomorrow at Edible Field. Both games will start at 7:05, and we'll have the latest on those games because they've started already, or one of the games at least. We'll have the latest on CrossroadsToday.com. And after the Mets snapped the Astros After the Mets snapped the Astros' 7-game winning streak last night, Houston's go to their revenge in beating the Mets today. The loss comes as the Mets squander a 5-run lead. Jake Myers with a solo home run for the team. The final score was 9-6. And long-time ESPN college basketball analyst Dick Vitale has been diagnosed with cancer for the 4th time. Vitale made the announcement on social media Friday. He wrote that a biopsy of a lymph node in his neck came back positive for cancer. He says he is scheduled to have a surgery on Tuesday. Vitale is also optimistic, writing, quote, "I will win this battle." The 85-year-old has previously been treated for vocal cord cancer, melanoma, and lymphoma. And keep it here, we hear an endearing story about a family of skunks. Experience our digital streaming service, Crossroads Today Plus. You can stream our daily newscasts and much more using your connected TV. Just download Crossroads Today Plus on your Roku, Amazon Fire TV, Apple TV, or Android TV. Just search for Crossroads Today Plus. Police in Oregon encountered what could have turned out to be a smelly situation. This unfolded Friday in Baker County in the eastern part of the state. Officers on patrol suddenly stopped their car to allow a family of skunks to get across the roadway. Police posted video of the incident. The mother was closely huddled with her babies as they safely made it across the road. The officers waited patiently as this unusual family gathering unfolded. Wow, Trey, look, they made it across. It's like a nursery rhyme.
Exactly.
And Odessa residents are facing another water outage. The fast-growing Permian Basin city has faced years of water problems due to crumbling infrastructure. Read this story by the Texas Tribune on our website, crossroadstoday.com. And we do have time for a last look at our forecast with Trey. Now, I've been out of town, Trey, for a week or so. Are we going to get any rain?
Very small chances during the afternoon time, but the heat, of course, is always here, persistent. That's going to be the case throughout tomorrow and through next week. High temperatures in the 90s. That's the air temperature. Heat index value above 100 degrees each day, at least 105 or higher. Lows in the 70s. Of course, watching Beryl as likely to become a major hurricane by the time it enters the Caribbean Sea on Monday. So keep tabs on that. In the meantime, try your best to stay cool.
All right, thank you, Trey. And we do have that interview with the head coach of the Victoria Generals on our website. You can go to crossroadstoday.com. Have a great rest of your evening, and we'll see you tomorrow for 25 News Now.